Welcome back to Special Boredom.
Can we check more cars, please?
No, Teo, we're done checking cars. Let's.
Hey, wait a minute. This takes place before Mortal Kombat, right?
Yes, this is the first one. This is the Snake Eater of the series, basically.
Apparently, this is the very first chronological game, so it's a Skyward Sword equivalent.
I don't know, Pedro. I don't think the song would have been quite as catchy using the title of this game, Special Forces.
Yes.
Anyway, didn't the story of Mortal Kombat 2 suggest that Jax only got his arms around Mortal Kombat 2?
Yeah, we'll address that.
To get haywire?
We'll address that, Jova. The people who made this game clearly didn't do their homework.
Well, a bit behind the scenes stuff, audience, but it's been a while since we last recorded playthroughs.
If these guys don't bother to do their homework, why should I?
The basic point is the development of this game was hell. It changed.
Not only that, apparently it completely messes with the canon.
Yeah, John Tobias left midway while the game was still in development. It was.
So he pulled a Yuji Naka and abandoned this project while it was heading towards an iceberg.
Probably.
Well, to be fair, a bunch of other people left midway at the same time.
Yeah, probably because there was.
Just like with Yuji Naka and Sonic 06. Wow.
And surprisingly, Ed Boon stuck around.
Yeah, Ed Boon. Well, unlike John Tobias, Ed Boon's games were actually liked and successful. So.
Well, it's not just that. Not just that, but Ed Boon's a real trooper. Like, well, even if this thing were looking like it was going to go down sinking, Ed Boon does not strike me as the guy who would outright abandon it. And I don't know, maybe he wanted to try and do right by one of his friends' creations.
No.
Maybe.
Even though he badmouths this game, apparently, unlike the Sub-Zero game.
Well, actually, Jova, Ed Boon doesn't like mythologies either. But go ahead.
Well, wait, hold on. I thought you said that he doesn't.
Neither of the two had in this game.
I thought you said that he doesn't badmouth mythology.
He doesn't badmouth it, but he's not exactly ecstatic about it either. He's just not talking about it, basically.
Yeah, I mean, you can be supportive of your friend and think the game's a piece of shit at the same time.
Oh, absolutely. It's just like, well, I was just going off of what I've been told here. I mean,
Sub-Zero has been referenced, in our games. This one, not so much. I forgot if I actually did mention one of the previous part, but I did check, and no, Jack's outfit, this particular Jack's outfit is not referenced at all in any of the other games.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
that's
why
the thing
even
with
bother?
11.
It doesn't even look that cool.
MK11 has a lot of customization for outfits that allows you to create any kind that you want, including references to past games. And for example, you do get a reference to the costume that Jax uses in the PS2 trilogy. A red beret, and I think it's like a green scarf or something.
Yeah.
But not this bandana thing, not really.
Honestly, we weren't really missing out on much. Like, it's not even that different from his old outfit.
Like,
really.
True, Jova, I agree, but I do believe, for the sake of not really, but respecting the idea of franchise as a whole, even something from a banned product like a costume like this could be potential reference. It's like if in a future game, for example, that includes Dante for Devil May Cry, he has a range of costumes. Among these are like the Diesel costume from DMC2. Those are technically awful, but it's still a neat touch to also add those.
Oh, I do get what you mean, but my point also stands in life was that this costume...
An important message has been deciphered by our Special Agent Operations team. Check your logbook.
It says, fuck you.
My point is also that this outfit doesn't really speak that much in regards to stuff. Like, okay, to give Devil May Cry 2 credit, the costumes there are actually pretty neat and iconic here and there. Whereas with this, like I said, it's not even really that much of a change. Like, heck, if I recall correctly, I feel like Jax already does have a costume similar enough to that in Mortal Kombat 11. So, like, adding this particular one would probably be a little more than just a change of color and some removal of clothing here and there.
So, here's something funny. According to those messages I got, I'm supposed to rendezvous with a Special Forces agent called Sophia.
Not Sonya.
She's you'd think it would be Sonya, but I guess not. But yeah. Sophie, especially considering Carrie Hoskins is apparently a voice actress in this game, you know.
Oh, don't tell me she voices Sophia too.
That's a thing, Jova. Maybe she does, maybe not. I didn't check, but at the same time, here's what happened. While I was killing all those guys earlier in the basement, I accidentally also killed Sophia. Yes, you can kill Sophia in this game, but it's okay because even if you do,
that's right.
because it's okay, guys. Because even if you kill Sophia, you can still finish the level. Just there you go. This is what happened. There you go. Bye, Sophia.
Oh no!
What is the change in the
Wow, Pedro, I didn't know you channeled my spirit to play that.
Yes, I did. I decided to channel your spirit for this game.
So what does it mean now?
It doesn't mean anything, Joe, but I can still go on that logger and get the key that I need.
So Jax doesn't get, called out for murdering an apparent accomplice?
No, I guess the game goes on. Let me. Okay, I'm genuinely curious at this point. I'm gonna check.
I was all like, oh no, I killed Sophia. Whatever. It's not like I care. So whatever. Moving on.
Oh, okay. So what if you do it how the game wants you to do it? Does she have some dialogue to give or something?
Maybe. I don't remember. It's been a while. I swear to you, that was completely. I didn't even. I was just like, I saw someone aside from myself on screen, so my first instinct was just to shoot, and by the time I realized, it was too late.
So they allow you to shoot Sophia. I wonder why.
Probably Jova, because the game didn't account for it because the game was unfinished. Elevator access, or at the very least rushed. Elevator access granted.
How much you want to bet that if you talk to her, she'll just tell you to open the locker to get the key anyway?
Most likely. So don't bother.
But damn, Pedro, in this timeline, you've turned Jax into a cold-blooded murderer.
Yes.
That's okay, Dwibs. I'll still give
it's
him
okay.
a medal.
It's okay, Dwibs. It's okay, Dwibs. According to Ed Boon denounces this game, he doesn't even consider it canon anyway. So whatever.
Well, I mean, he can say it's not canon all he wants. Well, I mean, it's canon in this timeline, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know that Mortal Kombat 2011 was a
reboot. They did a Star Trek 2009 style of reboot where it's a different timeline parallel to the original, basically.
So originally I thought we were going to get sort of another soft reboot with that ending of Mortal Kombat 11, but from what I've seen and from what Tio's told me, there was a lot of backlash against that, so apparently that's...
Well, the only backlash I'm aware of...
Not really.
Well, the only backlash that I'm aware of, Jova, is the reveal of involving Sindel. Aside from that, I haven't heard anything.
Hold on, Tio. I thought you told me, Tio, that people hated the whole, getting together with Katana thing.
They just hated, Vero said, they just hated the retcon applied to Sindel. Otherwise, it's perfectly serviceable as a continuation.
Not just that, it also 11 basically retcon, not retcons, reboots the whole thing. That the ending of Aftermath basically implies that we're starting over again anyway, so it's not like it matters anymore.
So,
boy, I love those kinds of games where you just spent a grand old deal of time rebooting something.
Well, it's because
to reboot it again because fuck it.
Well, the thing is, Dwebs, Shansung's everything that Shansung did basically destroyed everything. So Liu Kang had to do something to basically eradicate all the evil that has been put forth by Shansung's plan. So
So inform me. Does Aftermath take place after the ending that involves Liu Kang and Katana finally becoming
right after that moment?
Well, Aftermath is literally the post-campaign DLC of Mortal Kombat 11. So yeah, it takes place right after. Mortal Kombat 11's base campaign pretty much kind of ends with a cliffhanger anyway. So it's meant for Aftermath really. And then Aftermath ends with Fire God Liu Kang going back to the original Kung Lao and making sure he begins his training to become the first victor of Mortal Kombat and all that shit and blah blah blah. So
essentially a time loop, it seems.
Yeah.
Time loop.
Yeah, basically.
So in that case,
that guy from Mortal Kombat 4, the one who ran himself off the cliff,
Jarek.
does he Does he show up in the new timeline?
No.
Only in
No.
comic format, dweebs, like I mentioned. But anyway, okay, I'm trying checking, and no guide nor story synopsis even bother mentioning Sophia, so I don't know what to tell.
Huh.
Whatever. The game doesn't care. Why should I?
It was murdered in cold blood by
let me
Jax.
guess,
He
let me
seemed to have been
guess.
possessed by a Portuguese.
I do wonder if
Let's
it's a situation where if you find her, she gets killed instantly by an enemy or something anyway.
I don't
I
know.
wouldn't-
And quite frankly, I don't
Okay,
care.
My theory is like, well, she just tells you to go to the locker where you get the item anyway.
Probably, maybe she's like your hint towards, one of the keys we need to get.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, too, I'm
It's
gonna.
obvious from how Pedro found it. Granted, maybe
I'm going-
because he's
Sorry.
played this game before.
Honestly, if I'm going to be totally honest, too, Sindel that is more interesting when she's being evil to me anyway. So personally, I'm not bothered by it.
I don't know.
I don't-
It feels conflicting. I have to say. Well, maybe, but it's still conflicting. I get that potentially where they might have come from, but at the same time, if it was something that was established kind of from the beginning, I would have been more okay with it. For a
I think
character
I
that has
get-
been around for so long, this feels unnecessary.
I think I get the problem here. It's like, well, it's sort of like a bout of character ping pong. Like, at first you think, oh, Sindel's evil. Then it turns out, no, actually, it's because she was, brainwashed to be evil. She's actually truly good. But then we go back to her being evil. And then, no, she's good. And then it turns out, no, she was
Boss
evil
battle.
all along. It's like,
Oh, speaking of Dwebs, here's our second boss, Jarek.
I thought this was a third
Actually,
one.
it's third. Remember, we already
Third
faced the.
Oh, yeah, third
I
one.
forgot
Yeah, you're
her name.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I'm struggling
worry.
to. It's a struggle to try to remember this game.
Oh
Too.
my god, you're
also
literally
good.
unlocking you.
Yes.
Also good. Don't worry, Jarek will survive this to be in Mortal Kombat 4.
How did this
Oh, I mean,
survive all these bullets?
only to run himself off a cliff, then somehow climb back up the cliff, throw Sonya off it,
and then being
And then-
thrown off.
and then he gets thrown off himself by Jax.
Exactly. Cutscene.
Gemini, I just transmitted my location coordinates to you via the Black Dragon's comlink. Have you received them yet?
That's affirmative on the pickup location, Jax. And it's about time. What's it take for a girl to get a phone call?
Oh,
This is not time for a sex hotline, Jim.
Nothing I couldn't handle. Just
there you go.
with the sharp
Terminator. Sure.
You're stealing
Except-
my style.
seems like
Except,
Zeno is a
no,
something.
Jarek is well and fully alive by Mortal Kombat 4.
Yeah,
Don't
you'll form
let him know, Jova.
some pathetic gang.
Maybe he survived Big Boss style, basically.
I just want to remind you that this game was helmed by one of the big leads of the series.
For a while,
Should've
remember.
known.
John Tobias did leave mid-development. We don't even
But
know
here's the
what
thing,
stuff
Pedro.
on this is from John Tobias.
Here's the thing, Pedro. You actually are right, but remember, Tobias was the one who mostly handled the lore until this point. You think he would know the continuity he created?
That's one of the big problems,
Yeah.
too. That's one of the big problems, too. The fact that after 3, he basically lost the plot. So it's a good. So honestly, I'm not entirely, sad about his departure. To be honest with you, because after 3, he kind of went off the deep end. He completely went apeshit and didn't pay attention to the stuff he came up with. So I guess and Ed Bruden basically took over for him. So it basically.
Well, in recent years, after since the merging, okay, I don't remember. I don't think it happened specifically for MK9, but starting at least with 10, NetherRealm Studios started using writers from DC Comics to actually write the plots of their games and it kind of shows. It's for the better or the worse. On the one hand, the stories are much well constructed. They are legitimately, as Angry Joe put already for MKX, but it still rings true for 11. They are legitimately the MK movies that we were supposed to get, and we never got. Considering how months of cutscenes they put in, the effort and everything, they do genuinely feel like actual popcorn movies. Of that kind, so very good alternative. On the other, they have this common thing that also the Injustice game stories tend to have, is that they start with a great, they have a great start, and also a great middle, I argue. But towards the end, they start losing steam and become unnecessarily mean or depressing for the sake of it. To the point where you never truly get a 100%, not even necessarily happy, but more hopeful or positive kind of conclusion. It feels odd.
Well, actually, well, as the thing too, even back with Mortal Kombat 4, even though we all know he failed, even back to Mortal Kombat 4, Ed Boon really wanted to make a more dark and gritty thing. Obviously, we know he failed with 4 because, well, look at those cutscenes. But Ed Boon had always wanted to make something a bit more gritty and dark.
Well, we already see in some themes, like say, I forgot which two, Scorpion or Sub-Zero's endings, Baraka's endings, Reptile's endings, Tanya's ending. And in a certain way, even technically Jarek's ending, because remember, sure, we get the hilariousness that is Jack throwing, with a one-liner, but Jarek still killed Sonya, technically. So
he got killed himself.
For the purpose of
for
the purpose of that, for that game alone, mind you, keep that in mind.
Yeah, it's also
is that even the main canon ending?
The main canon ending is Liu Kang's ending, Dwips. That's it's one of those things. Well, is the thing too, like even in the classic games, well, of course, like you said, not as much as in the new timeline. Even the classic games did have their side of tragic elements to it, anyway.
True. But Pedro, think about how they end. Liu Kang defeats the bad guy, and there is, at least hope for SCWRM. Sure, we had to get through that. But it feels, more hopeful in that kind of term.
Well,
9 ends essentially with a bloodbath, and yes, so the evil is stopped. But the very last minute it tells, oh yeah, Shinnok is gonna still be around, so tough luck, bitches.
Well, the whole idea with 9 was to do a new take on the original trilogy storyline. Like if the
no, I'm talking specifically how it ends, Pedro. Not necessarily.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. That's part of it, though. The idea was exactly to have Raiden try his best to stop the bad future that's going to happen in Armageddon, but he tragically fails, which allows him to redeem himself in 11, basically. So. So it's all about
you'll be able to judge it on your own, Jova, when we get to that.
It boils down to this. Yeah. Unlike John Tobias, Ed Boon prefers a more darker, grimmer Mortal Kombat storyline. I guess it's the best way.
Wait. Honestly, if anything, I thought like John Tobias was definitely the guy always trying to go for darker and grittier.
Well, I said grimmer specifically, but
that too, yeah.
Because remember, John Tobias' stories always have a happy ending. Technically,
yeah. Well. You think the ending of Sub-Zero Mythologies was happy? No, that's pretty much a downer ending. Like, sure, yeah, technically Sub-Zero wins, but he's not any better off for it. And several characters have to suffer for that too.
Okay,
still.
well,
So we'll see you next time for Metal Gear Jax.
See ya.
Yeah.